Hello and welcome to this short video about Jaguar XK8 window anti-rattle strips. This is video 70 in my series of XK8 videos. In this video I'm going to show how I tried to fix the window rattle I had when closing the door with the window down. I'm going to go through 7 sections in this video from number 1 the diagnosis, number 2 the operation of the anti-rattle strips, number 3 removal of them, number 4, repairing of your existing anti-rattle strips. 5, replacement with new anti-rattle strips. 6, refitment of the strips, which isn't particularly easy. And 7 is the additional issue of window rail guide wear. If you're interested in Jaguar XK8s, might I suggest you subscribe to my channel, press the red rectangular subscribe button, click the bell to be reminded when videos are issued, click the thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and if you have any questions or comments, please add them in the comment section below the video. First of all then, section 1, diagnosis of your window rattle. Bum. If your door, when it closes with the window down, makes a bum sound, you'll actually, in the car, you'll hear the window rattling inside, more pronounced than that. You've got trouble probably with your anti-rattle strips. You can actually have a look at the rear edge of the door. If you grab the seal away, you can see the anti-rattle strips, the short pieces, right at the end of the glass. There's the outer one, it's all collapsed. And the inner one also not looking in good repair. As you can see, the window moves around and it's able to rattle basically. These are the two main anti-rattle strips on the car, and that's the main reason your window will rattle, although there are other strips to assist with other areas. Number 2 then, the operation of these anti-rattle strips. So when your window's up, there's not really an issue because the glass is supported along the main window seals and also at the bottom at the points where the glass, the lower part of the glass, actually mates to the rails. But as the window is pushed down into the car door, the top of the window goes underneath the main window seals. And if you don't have any anti-rattle strips, the glass is only supported on the bottom and the whole glass will wobble at the top. So what Jaguar has done is put some anti-rattle strips in. So there's some strips of extruded foam are put in the top of the door to support the window to stop it rattling. There are actually 3 on the outside and 1 small one on the inside, as you can see here on the top view. The bottom shows the glass being supported by brackets onto the main rails. There are issues with these which I'll go into later. So when your window's up with the anti-rattle strips in, it's supported all the way down and you don't get any rattling. It works pretty well for a while, but eventually they fall off and they end up in the bottom of your door inner. And this actually then makes the remaining anti-rattle strips, the short pieces, collapse and basically the window will rattle. Further, they're actually at the bottom of the window mounting where it runs on the rails. Those guides actually wear and it allows the glass to move as well. And that can cause a rattle despite your anti-rattle strips being okay. So worst case, you're going to have at the top loose glass and at the bottom loose glass mounting as well, so you can have lots of window rattle. If you're interested, you can buy OEM anti-rattle strips. The part number is GJA1718AB. However, they are £40 each for what is a very short piece of extruded section. There are some smaller ones needed as well. They're AB versions, but they're not available. They're only a shorter section of the existing one or the other one, so it's not a big deal. To actually remove them then, section 3 removal. First of all, you need to take your door card off. As I've said previously, this is I've already done this in a video V65. Hopefully there should be a prompt to the top right hand corner for that video. So with the door card removed, you can basically put your hand in the bottom through one of the holes, and you'll probably see a little strip of rubber in the bottom, like this. One thing to note is that there should be 2 of these strips. I only found one originally in my driver's side door, but having looked at the passenger side as well, there was 2 in there, and then when I went back to the driver's side, there was one hidden right in the depth of the door at the front. So please note there are 2 of the longer anti-rattle strip sections in your door. Make sure you get both pieces out. There are some smaller sections as well. Those strips can be just pushed off with a screwdriver. Be very careful not to scratch your glass. Section 4 then, repair. So if you want to repair your existing ones, they're about 150mm long, 11mm wide, although that was the collapse section, probably about 15mm wide, and the depth of the section again is about 15mm. So you're looking at 150 by 15 by 15 realistically. The channels do open up with time, and I think that can be easily fixed by closing it. I basically just used my bench vise, got the section in there. It's aluminium extruded section, so it moves quite easily, and just give it a little nip in the vise to close it up, and hopefully it'll have better grip on the steel when when I push it back on. Let's have a quick look how I've done. Yeah, there you go. The section's slightly inboard now, so it should have a better grip. So here's a picture of the different degrees of anti-rattle strip collapse. You can see the section on the left, that looks quite almost new. That's probably the one that fell off first. You can see the section's a bit open. You can see it must have fallen off. The one then second right, that's a bit more collapsed, and the one second from the right is altogether collapsed, and the one on the right hand side, the short section, completely different, and it's missing its top section altogether. So the way to actually help with this, or to repair them, was actually a tip from David Rothwell on Jaguar forums back in October 2016. He posted a fix for his anti-rattle strips, which would basically pack them with earplugs, PPE earplugs or ear protectors. He actually did add more cloth over the top, or felt, to assist, but I didn't think that was necessary on mine. But great idea from David, and that's what I did. I chopped off a section 25mm long of the longer sections because my short sections were completely collapsed and missing. I then took the section with a screwdriver, opened it up slightly, being careful not to split it. I then took my earplug, second-hand ones, compressed it to make it smaller, as you would put them in your ear. I basically took the screwdriver out partially. There we go, put it back in, and then screw that earplug into the one end. Now I did, for the short sections, they're about 25mm long, I use one earplug. For the longer sections, I used 3, one each end and one in the middle. Once you've got the earplug into the section, it's fairly easy to push it along the length. I find it slightly easier if you lubricated these with oil, or, well, not oil, sorry, a bit of WD-40 or water. It just helps the whole thing slide in there. There you go. That's one repaired. It's as easy as that. And it just helps the section come out and be supported. There you go. Job done. Section 5 then, replacement. This is thanks to Gary van Remortel. He had the suggestion of buying new sections, and he'd found some section that looked very, very similar, which was reasonably priced at $9.99 for 5 foot, which is quite a long length. So roughly for $10. I mean, if you wanted to ship to the UK, it's another sort of $8. So for about £20, you can get it delivered to your door in the UK. One thing he suggested, a top tip from Gary, was to use a longer single piece rather than two separate sections. So he was using sections roughly 10 inches or 250mm long. This makes it easier to put the forward section in, which we'll come into later in the video. The section wasn't quite the same, so we had to buy some cloth tape to allow the window to ride against the extrusion properly, and to attach that he used some permanent fixing tape. So basically with the double-sided tape, put the cloth on, cut it to length, and then basically attach it to your extruded length. Job done. He made 4 times 1 inch sections and 2 times 10 inch to fit back into his vehicle, and I believe it's quite successful. So section 6, refitment of those sections. In your door inner there are actually 3 access holes, 1, 2 and 3. First access hole number 1 you can use for the rear long and short pieces to put back on the rail. It is quite tight in the door inner through these holes. You need to have very thin arms. Thin long arms would be ideal. The steel edges are very sharp and you're going to cut your forearm all to pieces. But hey ho, it'll stop the window from rattling hopefully. So basically once you've got it in there and pushed it on that steel edge, it should look something like that, back in place. Bit of a top tip then, for putting this section a little bit further forward in the door, you can do this using a wooden block. It's actually almost impossible to get your hand in there without any assistance. So by putting the wooden block in there, you can put your second front anti-rattle strip through the same hole, number 1. But in this case, engage it slightly on, just engage it on the front of the anti-rattle strip, use the rear to push along with the block to get as far forward as you can until you get to the edge of the window, if you would, so where it's going to be effective. Once it's in place, you can use the same wooden block as a finger extension again to enable you to push it up and engage the anti-rattle strip with the edge of the door. The small sections that go on the trailing edge of the door can be put in through the hole number 3, fairly easy, onto the rail. The outer anti-rattle strip, again, you can use hole number 1 to put in through, or even through the top to get that one in. And your anti-rattle strips should look something like this once you've fitted them. So you've got 2 short ones on the end, the back edge. Then you've got 1 in the middle and 1 at the front edge. Something like this. Hopefully you can see that clearly. So I've got 1 anti-rattle strip right at the front edge of the window. There's a little notch in the door there. You need to have 1 in front of that if you can. And I got the 2 at the rear there. And you can see that the glass is now really nestled in there, really nice and tight. So there you go, your 3 anti-rattle strips all in position. Finally then, guide wear. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you can get wear in the guides where the window is located and runs off the runners. So, as I say, the lower guides right at the bottom of the door can allow movement. Basically, the plastic in between the metal, or what I've shown here in grey, that's the metal slide, and the actual aluminium bracket holds the glass to that metal slide. There's a white plastic inlay in there to help the running on the steel. Now these can wear over time and the whole thing rattles. So basically this is actually the picture of it. This is the aluminium bracket holding onto the glass, and it runs off this metal rail. Inside here there's a lot of little white plastic insert that can wear away basically, and the whole thing move at the bottom. What was another suggestion from Jaguar forums was actually to make a plastic insert strip to put in there to take up any slack or any movement. And these are best made from plastic takeaway lids, believe it or not, which is the reason I'll come into in a moment. So if you use the plastic takeaway lid and cut it across the section, leaving a bit of the edge on, the edge actually acts as a it keeps basically stops the thing from sliding out as it goes up and down. This is actually a great suggestion from Gordon Richards on Jaguar forums in his post of September 2015. So thanks, Gordon, for that. It's a really good one, and those takeaway lids do the job, and it takes all the rattle out. On the front guide, you have a similar issue, albeit it's practically impossible to get the lid in with the edges. I need just a plain section, and I put it in there and then taped it to this top section here, and that took all the rattle out. Plus, hopefully it won't come out, but hopefully the tape will hold. So there you go. Finally, I actually greased the rails. You could hear a little bit of plastic wearing against the steel, so I greased them just with a bit of axle grease. Nothing major. Not sure if that was a good idea or not, but there you go. So finally, the test. Done. No, not a dum. It's actually a dum. Thank you very much. Job done. Super duper. So there you go. 7-section diagnosis, operation, removal, repair, replacement, refitment, and the guide where everything you need to know about anti-rattle strips. I'd like to thank the guys on the Jaguar forums, in particular David Rothwell and Gordon Richards, for their great ideas on how to repair what I've already got, and plus Gary Van Remorto for actually his idea of finding replacement ones, which is absolutely great. I haven't gone to that yet, but probably I'll have to next year or so when these are fallen off again. There you go. I hope you find that useful if you've got a window rattle. Thank you very much for watching. Please click the like button, please share the video, and please comment, and finally, please subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.